some emotional baggage.
The first half of the pod today, we're going to dissect this issue from all different types of angles, right? Because that's what you come to us for. You want our perspective on, like, what the bag is, what the true bag is.
We want to address it. We want to stretch it. We want to stress it. We want to do all of that. And so when we talk about this emotional baggage.
So everybody at this point, maybe you don't know. Maybe you've been living under a rock. But there was an officer, his name, in Minnesota. His name was Derek Chauvin. I think I'm saying that right.
DC, what up, baby? You bitch.
So disrespectful. Who killed an unarmed black man whose name is George Floyd.
Brother Floyd.
Big Floyd. And his wife, whose name is Kellie, she's from Laos. Shouts to Laos.
Lao in the building.
Shouts to Laos.
Yeah.
Love that place.
Yeah.
She won, actually, Miss Minnesota back in 2018.
Did she, though?
That's cool.
Well, they say that if you're going to win a pageant like that, then you might be quite easy on the eyes. Is that what it is?
Must be.
I know you got to have the brains, too, and all the rest of that. They ask you those questions and stuff like that. We have a special question that they didn't ask her later after we talk about her a little bit.
So on Friday night, after last week of everything popping off, she announced that she was going to end her marriage with Derek Chauvin, the officer that you could see
she was going to do
choking
what?
out George Floyd.
She was going to do what?
In the marriage. She filed for divorce.
She filed for a what?
After a 10-year marriage, she filed for a divorce.
Kellie Chauvin don't want to be married to DC no more.
Nah.
Why is that?
All
right.
Chauvin has been charged with Chauvin got charged with third-degree murder.
Third-degree murder and second-degree manslaughter.
Is that fact?
Yeah, it's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
They charged him with third-degree murder and with second-degree manslaughter, so it's good that he'll have to fight two cases.
So
and
it brings up the bigger question is how do we feel about the women who support these officers who commit these violent acts against human beings?
How do we feel about the wives, girlfriends, mistresses, or mistresses? I like thinking that might be mistresses. It makes it sound a little bit more fancy, but it's really just mistresses. How do we feel about these wives, girlfriends, mistresses who, what's it like to be married to a dirty cop? How do we feel about these women who support them?
You're an accomplice. You're an accomplice in certain ways.
Should she be charged? What should she be charged with? Hey, keep it gangster. I say it in the most potentially offensive way possible.
Nah, I can't.
He's got this mandate, right? You got this guy. He's got this mandate of whiteness.
He has a history. He has a history of violence. He has a history of damn near racism.
And that's going to happen disproportionately, right, to people who don't have that mandate of whiteness like how he does.
Right.
And then when he goes home.
So, I mean, some people would say, his wife is Asian. He can't be racist.
Right. For those of you who this might be new information to, you have to ask yourself this. When Master Charlie was raping Bessie and all the rest of the people too, did that exonerate Master Charlie from racism? Anyway, check it out. How do you feel about women, these wives? Should they stand by their man? When they get ready to leave, do we say, oh, it should have happened sooner, or congratulations, or do we say to them something like, oh, you're faking the funk, you're just trying to protect yourself right now? Do we say all of those things to them?
I feel like all of those responses have some validity. Me personally, I want to choose to come from a place of loving kindness and empathy. So in that situation for her, with her kids, she just wants to protect her family, which we talked about motherhood on the first pod. No, she do. Not in that marriage. They don't have kids.
Right.
But she has children from
another
previous
marriage. Right.
So she wants to protect her family, and we talked about motherhood in the first podcast, and I said that one of the pillars of motherhood is sacrifice. And also he said one of the pillars of motherhood and parenthood is culture. So you got to create a culture where you enforce to your children that you can't stand beside something so heinous and so violent and so just ugly. You can't stand for it or stand beside it or stand with it.
I feel bad for the kids that she waited this long to leave.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. We don't want to judge the lady. We do feel like it's a good idea to examine that situation because, whoa, That's all I got to say
Because
about
it brought us up to this point. Like, what is it like to be married to a dirty cop?
What's it like to be married to what?
A dirty cop.
What's that like?
So, or even
Are any of you married to a dirty cop?
or even to be,
Let us know.
imagine to be abused or to be a victim of domestic violence from a dirty cop. Like, I read this article, really powerful article about a lady who was dating a cop. Ended up, she was unfaithful, but they got married because they were having a child.
All right.
So the relationship was already on shaky terms.
All right.
And then
what?
And then all of a sudden, one day he becomes violent, but he's also a police officer. So it's like, again, it goes back to, what standard should we hold these people to, like these officers? And should they be held to a higher standard? I think so, because they yield a certain amount of power, being authorized to carry a weapon and that they can use at any time. So
I'm going to be the dark one.
What's it like?
I'm going to be the dark one here.
All right.
And I'm going to say, I can imagine that for a lot of people being married to a dirty cop is fun. Because a lot of folks out there know that their husband is dirty.
Yeah.
Right? And really are accomplices.
Or wife.
Right. Or that their husband or wife is dirty. And
or wife.
Know what it's like
sure.
to be accomplices. When they come home with that bag, that brown bag, you know what I'm saying, from robbing some drug dealers, you know what I mean, or that coke that they got up out of the evidence room or whatever. Guess who's the first person there to get right? Right? Guess who getting broken off, extra 10 bands. Right. You know what I mean? When they out in Aspen,
new refrigerators.
Yeah, Aspen, skiing around, showing off whatever to their girlfriends or to their boyfriends. I'm gonna keep it like that. I'll go ahead and be the dark one, and I'm gonna say, yeah, a lot of people out there, they love their crooked spouse. They love it.
Right.
You know what I mean? They love it. Might have been scared at first, right?
Right.
But let the first year pass by and the second year pass by, and that extra $2,400 a month.
It reminds me of
that's coming from that extortion racket, that them and their buddies got going on, right? And that Cadillac Escalade that they pushing, right?
It reminds me of
now.
Better Call Saul. Like as he got worse and worse, at first his lady was hated it.
Sure.
She wasn't about it at all.
Sure.
But then when she could use it to her advantage,
sure.
She got a lot more comfortable with breaking the law all the time. She got more and more comfortable with it, and at one point they just partners in crime.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna. I tell people I'm not gonna pretend to be an arch criminal, but I know a little something about something, and that's exactly what it's like for most people to be married to dirty cops. Straight up. Until guess what? When things start going bad, then it's
go bad.
Oh, then what happened? Then the rats come out.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead, PC up.
I mean, and I think that's just being
PC up, you filthy rat.
being married to a criminal in general. I mean, being involved with a criminal in general, romantically. I mean, it doesn't have to be, this applies to any criminal, not just horrible cops, but I mean, not just dirty cops, but when you laid up with someone that is breaking the law. That's the thing.
Love, go listen to some Ice-T. Go listen to some Ice-T. Get an education about this kind of stuff, y'all. Take it back to the original, Tracy. Yeah.
And we talking about Derek Chauvin and Floyd and everything. And I wanted to point out that at one point, according to Vlad TV, shout out to Vlad.
Big Vlad. Ooh.
Shout out to Vlad.
Yeah. Get my Vlad TV.
These guys,
2021. We coming.
The off-duty officer that was working inside the club they were both working at the same club.
How about that?
Derek Chauvin was working inside, and George Floyd was working outside. And I mean, just to think that you could be, 1 degree of separation from someone, and be damn near coworkers, but still have no commonality and still have no common humanness. So, do situations like this make you more mistrusting of other racial and cultural groups?
Nah, me personally,
yeah.
Nah. I'm already, like I said, I'm broken already. I'm doing my best to get fixed. That's what I'm doing out here. I don't even, me. That's why I call people so-called race, so-called white folks, so-called black folks, because I don't trust the system that throws those labels on people. I feel like those are artificial lines. You think, yeah, I'm gonna take it there. You know the history of how a lot of these national borders got drawn? Just look up the history of how the Brits did it, right? You know what I mean? Draw some artificial boundaries, right? The boundaries that you draw support your economic interest, imperial interest, right? For those of you who don't know, this conversation might be a little bit academic or whatever, right? But it's cool. we're gonna break it down to you. You know, racism is a style of neocolonialism.
Mm.
All right, so it's economic, right? So
Yeah.
for me, I don't even take it there because I already know. Oh, just because I'm in a room full of 100 so-called black folks or whatever, right? It's gonna be the same percentage of rats in that room, right? I'm in a room with 100 so-called white folks. It's gonna be the same percentage of rats amongst every group.
Yeah,
Straight up.
for sure.
Yeah. So that's
And-
how I get down.
So it comes down to the fact that, and I think the overarching theme that I want people, our listeners, to take away from this conversation is that we're human beings,
Humans.
and human beings have light and darkness inside,
Big H.
and
Letter H. Humans.
and what side of the human being that you get
Humans.
depends on which part of the human being that they have embraced. Have they embraced the lightness within them, the love, the kindness, the caring, the empathy, or have they embraced the darkness, the separation, the hatred, the bigotry, the discrimination, the racism, violence? It depends on like what part of themselves have they embraced. So for me, this situations like this particular situation doesn't make me more mistrusting of other groups. But later we're gonna talk about another situation that makes me more mistrusting of other groups.
That's what's up.
And so let's get into the next bag because this guy's really funny.
All right, let's do it.
Let's get it.